Hello folks, this video is going to be a quick refresher on rhythm. As a reminder, rhythm is a pattern of sounds, these sounds we call notes, and silences, which are called rests, that are measured in beats. Now, these notes are sounds that last for some number of beats. They can be half a beat, a whole beat, 2 beats, 4 beats, whatever. And beats are the basic measurement for how long things last in music. So here we have the four most basic type of note. We have the whole note, half notes, quarter notes, and eighth notes. And they get their name for how much they're worth in relation to the whole note. So the whole note is worth a whole, the half note is worth half of a whole note, quarter notes are a quarter of the whole note, and eighth notes are an eighth of the whole note. And you'll notice I have eighth notes drawn two different ways here. This is two eighth notes put together. This is what an individual eighth note looks like. If this whole comparison thing has your brain swimming a little bit, stay put, because this next slide will help you out. So, as I mentioned, a whole note equals two half notes. A half note equals two quarter notes, or four eighth notes. And a quarter note is worth the same as two eighth notes. So, for example, like for this class, we're going to say that a whole note is worth 4 beats. So then each of these would be worth 2 beats. If the half note is 2 beats, because that's half of the whole note, then the quarter notes are worth 1 beat, and the eighth notes are worth half of a beat. Now, it doesn't have to just be one type of note that splits it up. Like, for example, here we have a whole note that's worth 4 beats. So I have a half note that's 2, a quarter note that's 1, and then a eighth note that's worth 1.5. So if I was going to put this in real counts, I would put 1, 2, 3, 4, and. So it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Now, like I was saying before, in this class we're going to be living in something called 4/4, which means the bottom number tells you how many beats a whole note is worth. So this one here. And the top one tells you how many beats are going to actually be in a measure. So my whole note is going to be 4 beats, my half note is going to be 2 beats, my quarter note is going to be 1 beat, and my eighth note is going to be half of a beat. Let's go ahead and, okay, it won't let me erase that. Oh well. So those are our values for this class because we're living in this time signature. Alright, so this is a whole note. It's worth 4 beats as you see here. The 1 is outside of the parentheses because that's when the attack, that's when the beginning of the note is. And then the 2, 3, and 4 are in parentheses because we're still sustaining that note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and clap that with me. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what we do for whole notes. For half notes, because they're worth 2 beats, only one note goes in parentheses. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, because we don't attack again on those notes in parentheses. We just kind of hold them out. And for quarter notes, we don't have any parentheses because each of the beats are being clapped. 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes, we get to add these little ands. Those of you guys who are in band, you may already subdivide and keep track of those ands on the other ones. That's awesome. Keep doing that. If you're not in band and you haven't done that before, if it helps you when you try it, go ahead and keep doing it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. So this is going to sound like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Go ahead and try clapping that. Ready? Go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now we have the rests, and for rests everything goes in parentheses because there is no attack. It's silence. So we have to make sure that we still count the numbers at the same rate of speed because they're still happening for the same number of beats, and the beats worth the same amount. It's just we don't have an attack. So for a whole rest, it looks kind of like a whole. For a half rest, it looks kind of like a hat. And you notice only 2 numbers going because a half rest is only worth 2 beats. The quarter rest is worth 1 beat, and the eighth rests look like this, and they're worth half of a beat. So if I were to have something like this instead, it would go 1 with the and in parentheses. So I have a rhythm here, and I want you to go through and try and figure out how to clap this rhythm. So you're going to have to hit pause. There's going to be a slide that pops up on the next page that just gives you a reminder of how to count things out, so you might want to bounce in between both of those. After you try and figure out how to clap this, there's a brief slide after the next page that will be me clapping that rhythm and counting it out loud for you to check your answer. So here, as a reminder, are the different types of notes and their duration, and here are the different types of rest and their duration. So you can go back and forth between this slide and the one before it to try and figure out how you're going to clap that rhythm. After you've put it together and think that you have it, you can check your answer on the next slide. Alright, here is the count. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, thank you very much. And I'll see you next class.